All right, hello. Welcome to Run, Race, Repeat. This is episode 3 of our live show. Thank you so much for tuning in. Before we get into things, Brett, let's do the check-in. But actually, before that, I want to let you guys know that the topic is of tonight's show is how to get fit as fast as possible. More on that later. Now we're going to do the check-in. Brett, how was last week's training? I think it's your turn. I
Last,
can't remember, but
Doug, I'll go ahead, I guess.
yeah.
I mean, the same as usual. 5 to 6 days a week, 3.5 to 4 miles a day, uh, including possibly 15, 20-minute walk after with core. So I'm basically out there about an hour a day.
Okay. Now is the walk that's part of your cooldown?
The walk is part of my cool down where I just swagger all over Dover Foxcroft back home.
Yeah. That's
Um,
why you do it. I know that's why you really do
oh,
it.
you know why I do it. I mean, I want to cool down. I want to add to my workout, but just strutting those arms, just, I
Yeah.
mean, whatever. Like, who's gonna say anything to me? Oh,
Yeah.
sorry, Rachel. No, no more. Sorry, I won't
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
cocky.
Yeah.
Sorry, Rachel.
Yeah.
Uh,
Our producer Rachel, my wife, she told us we were getting a little too cocky last episode, so we're gonna try to turn it down a little bit this week. Well, that's good, man. So everything feeling good? No, you haven't running into
things are
any
good.
injury issues or
No injuries. Ordering new shoes
okay?
this week. Getting a little bit stale with my current running shoes. I mean, if anybody out there uh, knows, you probably, if you really are into running, you probably should have at least two pairs of running shoes that you're using. I found out the hard way my first few years of running that of having one pair of shoe that injuries can occur easier, and it's important to to know the mileage on your shoes. Strava is a great way to do that. Once again, to keep track of the shoes that you wear, it saves them for you.
Yeah,
Get your
I'm.
mileage.
Yeah, that's a great point. Um, like you say, at least two. I mean, when I get into training hardcore, yeah, like I'll wear like three, even four pairs, like basically one pair for each type of workout. Brett, I think
Right.
we're going to be getting a little feedback from you.
Okay.
Is my sound coming through your headset or is it coming through
It
your
is.
computer?
It is
It is.
through
Okay.
the headset.
Huh.
It is.
Okay.
My fan's
Interesting.
on. Would a fan have anything to do with?
No, maybe it's just something to do with the bus system and the software I'm using. It's not too bad. I don't think.
Okay.
Let us know if you're listening, if you're picking up on some feedback, some echoing, and we can get that fixed. But yeah, I definitely think that with running, like the thing you're trying to avoid is the repetitive stress injuries. Like that's what's going to get you because you are doing the same motion, every time.
Right.
And
Right.
so if
Right.
you wear a different shoe, you know, 2 to 3 times a week or whatever, it helps to change that up. So it's not quite the same foot strike, the same motion every time. I do think it helps.
Right.
So that's good. And of course, there's no big race you're training for right now. You're just kind of general
Uh,
fitness.
Well, that's true, but Doug, I do want to say before we begin our first topic that you might enjoy this, it might hit home to you. I'm actually doing a virtual race it's called the New York City Subway System uh, race. It's basically you are running 245 miles, which is the amount of route track in the system, and you got about
Oh,
15 weeks to do it.
really?
Right. Um, yep, it's called the New York City Runs Subway System Challenge, and it's pretty cool.
That that sounds pretty cool.
You you basically there's 3 levels you can basically try to go after.
Okay.
The lower level is basically you don't get anything for it after you just do it. The mid level is you get a medal and you get a singlet, and I believe maybe a shirt, maybe like a long sleeve, maybe.
Okay.
And the highest level, the more you pay, the more you get.
Okay.
But it's
Of the
kind of cool.
bling.
Of the bling,
Of the
correct.
bling.
And
Yeah.
so I did it. I'm Memorial Day all the way for 15 weeks, and yeah. So
Okay. Cool. And that's where do you sign up for that or whatever?
well, it's New York NYC runs.com. You can find the race. There's a bunch of races, but you can click on the race when you find it,
Okay.
and basically it just sets you up to register.
Okay. So Rachel's asking, do you get any visuals of the New York City subway system that reflects your mileage?
Unfortunately, you do not. In the spirit of the subway system, the 472 stations, 245 miles,
Ooh.
you really are just running 245 miles.
Okay. Still though, that's neat.
Still, though,
That's cool.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
And then real quick, I have to share this one, also from
what?
Rachel.
What is Rachel?
She
Hello.
goes, she says, let's be real here. You have more like 5 to 6 pairs of
Wow.
shoes you rotate through
Okay.
depending on the run.
Well,
Guilty as charged. It's guilty as charged.
I mean, look, this podcast is designed for everybody, and the average runner out there who is just trying to get out there, I'd say having 2 pairs of shoes,
Yeah.
but also shoes that do fit your running style. The problem is I've seen people do is they want to run and they go to Dick's Sporting Goods, they go wherever, and they just buy a pair of shoes, but
Yeah.
you don't know. Are you a wide foot? Are you a neutral? Are you a neutral strike? Right. So you
Yeah.
have to figure out, because if you get the wrong shoe, I mean, it sounds silly, but getting the wrong shoe, you could get up injured. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's so funny,
You know what I'm
and
saying?
we need to do another episode, another show just on things you wish you knew about running when you were in high school or college that you know now. That would have changed things, drastically for you. And
I mean,
that's
yeah,
one of them
the
is the gear. Like I used to run, like in high school, I used to run like cotton shirts and like
cotton shirts.
wool
Oh,
like basketball shorts that like hung down like beneath my
t-ball
knees.
shorts with underwear
Yeah.
and cotton
Yeah,
shirts. I
and they're
mean,
just like stick heavy to me, and
oh God,
like I wish I could go back and be like, wear synthetic fibers,
right,
wicking materials,
right. I mean, it takes years, but
Yeah,
it is a process. If you are dedicated to running, you want to feel the most comfortable and you want to get the best results. I think investing in running gear is that you have to do it.
and you should actually consider yourself lucky because with running, the investment is very low. Like really, shoes is like really the only investment you have to make are your shoes. You don't have to go crazy. Where like in other sports where there's all this gear you have to buy, you might have to
Oh,
have a gym membership, club fees or whatever. You don't really need any of that for running. It's just your shoes
no.
and you're good. But definitely it's worth it to spend some money and get some gear that you'll be more comfortable in. And yeah, it's worth it, definitely. But and yeah, for shoes, it's a whole nother can of worms because you do need to know your foot type. Do you pronate? Do you supinate? Should you get a neutral shoe or should you get a support shoe? That's a whole nother thing too. Which
That's
another
a whole
thing.
other maybe episode, Doug, that we
Yeah.
can talk about for
Yeah.
people who want to know how and where do they go to do it.
Yeah.
There are places that you will be able to go once this whole restriction is up. So
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you can order shoes online, of course, and but I would always recommend, especially with running, to use a website like, I think it's like Running Warehouse, where you actually can run in the shoes for like a week, and if they don't work out, you can actually return them for your money back, which is
actually, you have not. I think you have 90 days, Doug. I believe
90
on Running
days. Really?
Warehouse. I
Wow.
believe so. Running Warehouse is a great, guys, ladies.
Yeah.
Running Warehouse is a great site, runningwarehouse.com, where there's tons of clearance sales for all types of running gear. And I can't, don't hold me to it, Doug, but today I thought I saw 90 days to return.
And that,
Free shipping.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. And that's huge. That's huge because
Jot that down.
because even if you can find the shoes cheaper somewhere else, you buy them and then you run in them and you find out you hate them. Most places you actually cannot return them as soon as you've worn them, and so you're out, you know, 80 $100 or whatever. Whereas Running Warehouse, you can actually wear them for like 90 days, as Brett's saying, and you can return them. That's huge. You don't have to, even if you have to pay a little more, the ability to return your shoes if you don't like them that's incredible value. So we're not sponsored by Running Warehouse, but
No,
we
we're
certainly
not,
like them.
but we wish we were.
We wish we were. We definitely wish we were. Okay, so I guess real quickly, I'll mention my training. I've been running every day. I'm kind of into this streak thing.
Street.
Yeah, I'm streak. I think I'm on like day 17. I think I'm up to, and it's been, my easy days are like 30 minutes at like 10 to 9 minutes a mile. Super, easy. If I might have the jogging stroller with me. If that's the case, I'm going much slower even than that. And on Monday I did 6 by 3 minutes at 5K pace with 3-minute jog recovery on the trails, which was good. And I forget what my long run. I did my long run on Saturday, and I think I got up to like 50 minutes. It's nothing too crazy. Today I went for no, it's not bad. And you know what, Brett? I feel like, as you know, I took basically like 3 years where I did very little running, and I'm just getting back into it. I got a lot of weight to lose, and I tell you, that 2-week kick you get from training, it just feels so good. You just feel better. But it's also dangerous because you can't get carried away. You got to rein yourself in, which we're going to talk about in our main topic. So it's actually a good segue.
Absolutely.
To how to get fit fast. And Brett, I'm sure you have plenty to share on this, but I'll admit that that's totally a gotcha title, because that I put for this show, because I actually think that the true way to get fit as fast as possible is to do it the slow way, is to be patient. Which, I don't, Brett, you can tell me how you feel about this, but I actually think that that's the way to go. You need to, consistency is king when it comes to getting fit. And if you push the mileage, if you push the quality beyond what you should be doing, you're going to burn out or you're going to get injured, and that's going to kill your consistency. And, I mean, you can't train when you're injured, right? And so
You cannot.
Yeah. And so I feel like slowly, starting out with a little less mileage than you think even that you could do, and working up slowly from there,
right,
is the key. What do you feel about that, Brett? I'm gonna share. I have a personal story to share about this, but I want to get your opinion overall on this topic.
Yeah, I mean, I actually have Um, I call it. Well, I mean, are we discussing strategy to do it, or
Yeah.
strategy
Okay.
to get into the game?
Okay. We're talking about getting as fit as possible. Imagine you're on the couch and you just finished a bag of Lay's potato chips,
Oh,
and you're like,
dude.
I wanna do this 5K in like a month. You know what what would you do? And my message is that
I
you
honestly
you
don't.
can't
Okay,
get you can't get
okay.
fit for
I'm
that.
sorry.
A month is
I'm
not
sorry.
enough time.
Yeah, I don't think a month is not plausible in terms like if you want to stay healthy and you want to achieve these goals, my suggestion is to focus on a race that is at least probably 3 months out.
Yeah.
Um, training for a race in a month, unless you're like a pro runner or you have your memory miles. Basically, memory miles, guys, is like you have all the miles you put on over the years or over the last few months of running. Even if you stop running, you still have that sort of saved up. Even with
Yep.
even with that, I feel like a month is not enough, to
No.
be honest.
It's not, and trust me, I'm like I'm going through that right now where like despite me like remembering, the times where I was fitter in the past and the paces I was putting up, that's not my reality right now. And I need to swallow that pill of reality and train the way I need to train right now. And that's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. Running is not a sport where you do a workout today and tomorrow you're, you know, 10 times better. It just isn't. Running is a patient person's sport. It's not about what you do today. It's not about what you do this week. It's not about what you do this month. It's what you do month after month after month that gets you fit. And it depends what race you're talking about, but you need it. Yeah, like Brett, what were you saying? Like at least like 3 months?
I My suggestion is if you want to run a race, let's say you want to run a 5K,
Yeah,
this whole couch to 5K thing, I
yeah,
think can happen. However, what happens is, Doug, what I've seen from friends, and trust me, this is personal experience.
yeah,
I've had a few friends over the years say, "I'm not a runner. I have not worked out in years or months, but I want to do a 5K this summer.
yeah,
I want to do one in like, you know, July or June."
yeah,
And the problem is people get so excited or something happens in their brain where they think like, I want to do a race
yeah,
that they feel like it has to happen in a month. And I'm just telling you that it's not going to happen the way you want.
yeah. You do have to temper your expectations. You can't think that you're going to, and a lot of people will do this thing where they get a time that they want to hit. So maybe you want to run, maybe you want to break, 20 minutes in a 5K. I don't know what that actually is pace wise, but people will
Because six-ish,
six-ish, yeah,
six,
yeah.
six, six, yeah,
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah,
6:30 at least.
a little bit slower than sixes, but yeah, but people will latch onto the pace because you can go to any calculator and find out to run that a 5K at 20 minutes. You need to run at this pace, and they'll do their workouts, and they'll run it at that pace and kill themselves to do it. And that you got to race, you got to train where you're at. Like maybe at the end of your training cycle, yeah, you should be hitting those paces if you want to hit that time.
Right.
But when you're just trying to get back like into shape or into shape for the first time, you got to train where you're at. You can't train where you want to be.
It is, Doug. I think for anybody out there who strives this summer to run a 5K, whether or not it's virtual or it's real, like an
Yeah,
actual race,
yeah,
you have to think about where you're at right now. what fitness are you at right now? And not only fitness, but what kind of running fitness or jogging fitness are you at?
Yeah.
I do have I have a little thing I call Gap that I created for myself, maybe for a little bit later in the show. But in terms of motivation to achieve these things, I call it Gap.
Gap, is that an acronym or?
It's an acronym.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay, well, share it with
uh,
us.
I used to shop at the Gap, but like it's basically all retail stores are kind of like, like going down. It's like but it's in honor of Gap,
In honor of Gap.
in honor of Baby Gap.
I'm pretty sure Gap's okay. I'm pretty sure they're gonna weather the storm.
Oh,
But
Gap is going to. Oh yeah.
they're gonna
So
sell some
Gap,
more turtlenecs in the future.
they're gonna sell some baby clothes and some. Yeah, some. Oh my God. So Gap, Doug. Basically, it's 3 steps, everybody. To if you either are a runner or you're not, and you want to get out there, but you don't know where to start. There's 3 things you have to do, and
Yeah.
G stands for goals. Goals. I'm referring to like what exactly do you want to do? Do you want to run a race? Do you want to run a certain mile of mileage a week? Do you want to look good for your family reunion in August or September? Right? Right?
Right.
What's up, Aunt Jenny? I'm here. I'm looking fit now. You can't talk shit to me anymore. Oh, sorry, Rachel. No swearing.
Oh yeah,
kids.
yeah. Well, yeah. Producer Rachel's listening.
Like, going to a wedding in October, you want to look good, whatever. But anyways, goals is in terms of what exactly do you want to do?
Yeah.
Like, did you go
Do you
through
wanna-
a breakup?
Yeah.
I mean,
Do you
you
want
want
to
to show your
qualify
ex?
for? Do you want to qualify for the Boston Marathon? If you're a
Do you want to do
marathoner.
that?
Yeah.
Do you want to show your ex, like, you know what, like, you're worth it, and like who is he?
What they're missing out on.
Missing out on, girl. Holla at your boy. So G refers to goals. A simply is ass out the dough. And ass out the dough is basically you can plan all you want, and you can it can be the greatest weather day ever, or whatever, or it's not the greatest weather day, but you plan to go out there, and you plan to do something. You plan to jog. You plan to run. Get out there. Don't let weather conditions. Don't let emotional stuff get in your way. Get out there. Ass out the dough. So GA. P refers to plan. An act for me, I have to have a structured plan. I would suggest finding a plan for you, whether it's a walk, jog, or walk, run, or just a run. Find a plan, print it off, or write it down, and put it up somewhere, so you know exactly what you have to do every day or every week until that goal occurs.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that, because that's absolutely the case with me. Like, when I have a plan and I don't have to think, am I running today? I just look at the plan and I'm like, that's what I'm doing. And I've actually looked at Jack Daniel's distance running formula plans. I have his book. That's
everybody. Just to clarify, not Jack Daniel's, like.
Yeah.
You.
Yeah. Wait. Hold on. We got a comment. I gotta push
Rachel?
live here.
Who is it?
Oh, it's Rachel.
Rachel, hey, girl.
She says, just confirming that's ass out the door, right? Not dough. Not ass out the dough.
It's ass out the dough, which actually connects together. Door and dough together. Essentially the same thing.
They're the same thing. Okay, that's been confirmed. Okay.
I mean, look, whoever you are, if you are proper and you want to use the R's, ass out the door, or you could
Rachel's
say
proper.
Ass out, she's proper at AF.
Yeah.
Or ass out the dough. You can do that too. I mean, whatever you want, whatever you're feeling.
But so Jack Daniel's, not the whiskey, the distance running scientist who basically any training plan you read today has been influenced by Jack Daniels. But he, in his book, The Distance Running Formula, which is now on like its third or fourth edition, I forget, but he kind of leaves it up to you. Like he says, like, okay, so, you know, these 3 days you're doing this workout and then fit in the rest of the mileage as you will. And from a motivational standpoint, that doesn't work as well to me as somebody just saying, hey, today you run 5 miles. And then today, you know, just laying it out all for me. And that way I can just do what the training plan says. So if you do use a plan like Jack Daniels, which is, of course, a good plan, yeah, he's a pioneer. But I would recommend, you know, map out your schedule in advance to say, like, I'm doing this day, this is this day, this day. And that way you just wake up and you know what you have to do. And that's what I've been doing. And I don't have a race in mind right now, but I am using a plan. And it's huge for getting me out the door. And also I am doing a streak. I didn't intend to do a streak because I actually think when you're getting off the couch, like I've been, days off are good to let your body, you know, recover. But I've kind of just, I'm now in a streak, and when you find yourself in a streak, you just got to keep going, right? So that's what I'm doing. And my easy days, though, I do make sure to keep them super easy. But yeah. But the key thing is, and I think, you know, Brett, what we're talking about in terms of, you know, being patient and taking your time, I feel like this advice goes like 10 times. It's 10 times more applicable the older you get. Because I think that the younger runners can get away with making mistakes. They can get away with going hard. They can get away, you know, when they shouldn't be. They can get away with, you know, doing that last rep of an interval workout, like, you know, like they're Superman. They can get away with like bumping their mileage too soon. You know, going from nothing to, you know, 30 miles a week or whatever. When you're younger,
Doug, don't forget, Doug. That's what we did back in college.
That's what I mean.
Remember that.
That's what I mean. When you're younger, you can get away with that, because the reality is, when you're younger, you recover faster, and you have some wiggle room when you make those mistakes. And all I'm saying is that the older you get, which Brett, you and I, you know, we're starting to get there. Are you officially a master's yet? Are you masters, or is that this summer, this August you turn master?
I believe this summer.
Okay. So
turning masters.
Yeah. So masters for you is, you're gonna light it up in masters, by the way, but it's right around the corner for you. It's, you know, it's a couple of years out for me, but you got to change the way you train. You definitely can't. If you're looking to get fit, you do have, well, Brett, I forget what the term you called them. You have the miles in the bank. You have the miles, the strength.
Memory miles.
Memory miles. The memory miles. I've heard it referred to as old man strength. But you do have that. Right. But still, you're not. You know, you don't have impunity against the laws of nature, which is, you do have to be patient, and you actually have to be even more patient, I think, when you're a master. And I've heard that when you're a master, it's not unwise when you do any kind of workout that has intervals where you get up to that last interval and you say, I'm not doing the last interval. I'm start my cool down. Which I feel like to competitive runners, that's anathema, right? Like, we want to do every rep that's on that training plan as hard as we possibly can, you know, especially the last one, hard one. And I think you got to get wiser as a master athlete and realize that last interval is probably has the greatest chance for injury. And overdoing it. So leaving that on the table and being like, yeah, I'm good, I've got a good workout in, I'm going to leave that one on the table, is really wise and a really smart thing to do. But Brett, if you don't have anything to add before I jump into story time, I want to talk about.
Oh, just a little
Yeah.
shout out to one of our one of our best fans out there, Danielle from Ohio. Um, she was looking forward to our show yesterday. Didn't happen, so she has
On
been
Monday, Monday or yesterday.
I believe yesterday, Doug.
Okay.
So just anybody out there, I think from now on, Doug, I think we're gonna do everybody. I think Wednesday,
Yeah, we're moving it to Wednesday.
9 p.m. Wednesday.
Yeah.
So if you're around, Wednesday 9 p.m. But shout out to Danielle, one of our loyal fans out there.
Yeah.
Doug, I got nothing else to really add.
Yeah, and I'll just say, Danielle, that's on me. I apologize. We do. I mean, we're gonna get this show on a consistent, airing, and a lot of that's on me. I couldn't get it together for Monday with work or whatnot. Things have been a little crazy, so that's on me. But yeah, we are moving the show to Wednesdays at 9 p.m. So you can look forward to it then. So yeah, story time. So back in 2014, Brett, when you told me you're running the Maine Marathon in the fall, and I was like, yes, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it with you. I looked at the training plans, right? Because this happened in the summer, so there was time, but there wasn't a lot of time. So I definitely was looking to do what we're talking about today, which is getting fit as fast as possible for a marathon. And I looked for the training plans, and I determined that Steve Fitzinger's advanced marathon training plan would be what I was going to do. And you can just imagine that somebody trying to do their first marathon going to the advanced marathon plan can kind of give you a hint into my mentality, which is I want to go hard, whatever. And even when I read the plans, I didn't choose the lowest mileage plan. I think the lowest mileage plan in that book is at like 30 miles a week. No, I wanted to do 50 miles a week. That's what I wanted to do, right? From the couch to 50 miles a week. And I mean, I think it started out at definitely in the 30 miles a week was like the start of this plan. And I did do the plan. It was a 12-week, which he does like 12 and 18-week plans, 12 if you don't have the time, whatever. And I did do the 12-week, like 50-mile, like that's like kind of like the cap out. That's the peak mileage you get to plan. And it was just stupid. Like, not only looking back now, I'm like, what were you doing? Like, you should have capped out at 30 miles a week. Probably if I did like the 30 miles a week plan, that would have been great for me. But it's that mentality that I think you and I both during the show are trying to preach against, Brett, which is you got to be patient and train from where you're at. And I didn't want to do that. I wanted to be 50 miles a week, crush the marathon. And I was even stupider than that. I actually did a lot of my medium long runs and long runs on the trail by mileage.
Right.
Not by time, but by mileage, which obviously if you're running the trails, you're going to be out there. If you're running mileage on trails versus roads, it's just a lot slower going on trails. So you're going to be out on the trails way longer, doing way more elevation to hit that mileage than if you just ran it on the roads, like the plan is designed for.
Right.
So I remember Brett doing that training for that, and I was just constantly looking back now. I was like constantly bonking, basically, where my muscles had nothing. I was doing way too much. And I just wish I could go back in time and be like, look, you're gonna get there. You need to be incrementally increasing your mileage and intensity, and just be patient. And I think that's why because that's not optimal. That set me back. I didn't get to where I'm going faster because I sucked it up and got tough and ran the mileage, even though my body was not prepared to do that. I dug a hole for myself. And that's the thing. Even if you're not injuring yourself, which you're probably going to, you're not training optimally. It's just not. Your body has a intensity and a volume that's optimal for it to recover and respond to increase your fitness. And if you go beyond that, that's not a shortcut. It's the opposite. You're going to make it take even longer for you to get fit if you're digging that hole. So that's kind of the advice. That's the primary kernel of advice I wanted to share with people on the show, because I definitely made that mistake, and I don't want people listening to the show making it as well. Running is just not. You got to run within yourself, and each week you get stronger and stronger. I say each week, but really, when you're looking at increasing mileage and intensity, you don't want to do that for at least every 3 weeks, I'd say. I'm a fan of the three week rule, where you're at the same mileage roughly per week for 3 weeks, and then you look at increasing it a little bit. But it just takes time. Running it's a sport of the patient and the dedicated, and that's just the way it is. That's my 2 cents.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, look, here's my thing. Look, everybody out there who has their iPod, and they're a new runner, and they're feeling that run. They feel the adrenaline from the Rihanna or from whatever. You're just getting your melon's getting tweaked. You're just getting jacked up over it, and you just go out and just run hard. But that's fine. You do have some sort of acceleration, but you have to manage. You have to bring it down to earth. I would suggest taking that iPod off for a minute and checking your breathing, because the problem is, I run with music. Doug, I know you don't really,
No.
but I do. But I think the key is, everybody, if you do run with a iPod or music, you have to check your breathing as you're going, because if you're really feeling the music and you're just going that full 2 or 3 miles, 4 miles hard, you're really hurting yourself in the end.
Yep.
So please check your breathing for the first, maybe 5 minutes,
Yep.
10 minutes, 5-minute increments, and then see how you're doing.
Yep.
You cannot trust the music to a point.
Yeah. So I've been kind of talking like the macro view of things, but you're right. When you're looking at run by run, well, first of all, you got to realize that every run has its purpose in a training plan. And if you're going out on an easy day, that purpose ain't to kill the run and run it as fast as you can.
No.
That the easy run is to get an aerobic stress and actually recover for your muscles and your bones and your ligaments, so that you can go harder during an actual, quote unquote quality session.
Right.
So, and that's actually one of the pitfalls that many runners, competitive runners, fall into, is that they run every run at this kind of medium intensity where they're going, they got their Rihanna, whatever, track playing.
I guess that. I have no idea.
Yeah.
Guess,
Taylor Swift. I don't know what's going on these days.
Oh my God, probably. Jesus
But
Christ.
she's laying
Probably
down.
somebody.
She's laying down those lyrics that are getting you pumped, and I can go faster than this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Killing it. I'm swift like Taylor.
Yeah,
But-
I'm killing the game right now. Yes.
Yeah.
Girl.
But that's actually a huge mistake, and I think that is, if you are a competitive runner, the two things I would take away from this show is you got to train at the fitness you're at, doing the volume you're at, and you got to be patient. And for your individual runs, you have to know what you're trying to take out from each run. And on your easy days, between your quality days, I'm not talking about like VO2 max, 400s or whatever on the track, or mile repeats on the track, right? I'm talking, or your hill repeats or whatever. I'm talking about your easy days or even your distance runs. You can't, if you run those too fast, if you make it a race, if you get too caught up in your Rihanna or Taylor, that's just going to set you back. That's going to take away from what you could bring to your next quality session. And you're thus not going to get the stimulus from that quality session you otherwise could have gotten. And you're not going to thus, ascend to the next level of fitness. So that's definitely true. For sure. Yeah. So I think I've said what I kind of want to say today, Brad. I don't know if you have anything to add.
No, I mean, it's just quickly going back to like what I said before about having a strategy. I think to all the new runners out there, even the older runners, more experienced, I commend you for wanting to try, wanting to get out there. But the problem is if you don't do the gap, I think you're going to struggle with actually getting out there. What happens is the excuses start to happen. Like the friends of mine who have tried this, they try to plan or they did something, and then after a week they stopped, and there was excuses or reasoning as to why they stopped, which is fine. But like, I feel like this is something that many people struggle with is committing to the run. You have to commit to the run.
Yeah. Thank you for bringing us back here, because you're right. This is probably, my mind always, when we talk about this, goes to the training. It goes to the volume. It goes to the workouts. But you're absolutely right. It really comes back to the motivation. So thank you for bringing us back here, because if you don't have the motivation to get out the door, you got nothing. Whatever, it's not going to happen. So the things we talked about in this episode, getting that goal race, sign up for it, put your money down. That's huge. Get that plan. You got to do this all in advance. Yeah.
And you have to get the ass out of the dough in advance.
And I'm a big believer in visualization as well. Because when you know why you're running, like I'm a competitive runner. That's why I run, because I want to get better, and I want to toe the line against other guys and gals in my community and see who's got it on that day and who can, go for it and come out on top. That's a big part of my motivation. Just that's the way it is. So when I'm running, when I'm getting out the door, I'm thinking, this guy, Joe, because Joe is, that actually is a guy in the Staten Island running scene who's a competitive runner. He's and I'll be like, is Joe going to take today off? I don't think he is. I think he's going to get out the door and do it. So I need to, if I want to be able to, because when Joe and I are in the last, mile of a 4-miler, he did not take today off. He's going to be able to, feed me dust sandwiches. So I need to get out the door so I can respond and race him to the finish line. But for other people who aren't competitive runners, it's different. Maybe, as you alluded to, you do want to show up your aunt, Olivia or whatever, that you do look great in the summer dress or whatever. You do want to hit the beach and show off that physique.
Get that beach body
whatever.
going, girl.
Although
Right.
I think for like, competitive guy runners at least, the competitive guy runner physique is not a beach physique. The whole like skinny 100 pound soaking wet look is not the American
Well,
ideal.
Doug, I mean, I would not. First of all, I wouldn't sell the competitive body uh,
Sure.
shorts,
All
Doug.
right. All right.
I'm actually going to a beach for the first time
What?
in a couple. I'm going to Old Orchard Beach in about
Really?
2 weeks.
OOB. Wow.
Um, I'm not big into beaches, nor do I like crowds, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with a couple of Southern Maine friends, and I'm gonna show off my competitive runner beach bod. But
Yeah.
I'm more comfortable with that than compared to what I was, let's say, 3 years ago,
Oh hell yeah, man. Hell
four
yeah.
years
True.
ago. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
so like I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Uh,
That's
so
true. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. It's a good point. It's just, yeah. I just know that it's funny because I do feel like guy competitive runners, you are kind of sculpting your body to be the counter to the American ideal. We don't have the triangle shape, the huge arms and the shoulders.
no, we do not
It was
have
kind of
that.
like aerobic muscle
Oh
is
no,
is
Doug,
compact and
it's
small.
not. You're right. Our
Yeah,
the competitive runner body is not the
yeah,
typical beefcake,
yeah.
like
And that's
getting
not.
swole,
Yeah,
bro, in the
yeah.
gym. Uh,
I
but I
but
mean,
I honestly feel like it's funny. It's funny because that like testosterone, like Arnold Schwarzenegger, tough guy like vibe. Actually, if you go to like a very competitive like regional race or of course national race, that start line is overflowing with testosterone. It is like everybody is like a Arnold shouldering it
oh,
out, being like, "Oh yeah, who's fit? Yeah, you fit? Yeah, I don't think so. I'm gonna, it is like that." But
what?
yeah, yeah,
Okay,
oh yeah, oh yeah. But it's funny because this one story, I remember training for the Vermont City Marathon in 2015.
right,
I was doing it because we had a bad winter that year, lots of snow, and
right.
I was at the gym. So I was doing like my long run or something on a treadmill. Definitely building that mental toughness, by the way. Doing an 18 miler on a treadmill. But
Oh, my nightmare.
I just remember like there was a woman beside me, and some guy like came up and was talking to her, and he's like, "Yeah, I thought I'd come up to the chick room to get my cardio in." Basically, like associating cardio and stuff with women because, and I'm like, dude, yeah, you may be able to like lift more than me, but I will like drop you in any race from, an 800-meter to a marathon and beyond. I will like drop you.
That that's interesting to
Yeah,
me.
yeah. So I have run into that a little bit where, it is what it is. But I think we run you got to find the motivation for you, why you run. For some of us, it's competitiveness. For others, it's self improvement. For many, actually, it's multiple things. Just your physical well being and fitness. There's been a lot of research done about just how much aerobic exercise does for you. I mean, it affects everything.
Right.
Your body, your heart, your lungs, and your ability to take in oxygen. It affects your entire body from your brain to every muscle. And it really kind of is a super exercise for you to do for yourself. But whatever your motivation is for running, you do have to find out get clear on what it is, remind yourself of it, and keep that center of mind. So absolutely. But yeah, so I guess, Brett, that's going to lead us to the miles ahead. So I guess I'll start this one. I mean, although I feel like it's the same for both of us. It's kind of just like what we've been doing. I probably should have studied my training plan a little bit better. But I feel like it's just gonna be, actually, know what? It's not gonna be the same thing. It's gonna be, because this is my third week on the plan. This plan follows the 3-week rule in terms of increasing intensity or volume. So I'm gonna be, most of my runs are gonna be extended by 10 or so minutes. So yeah, I'm hoping to get my long run over an hour, and most of my easy runs will still be 35-ish minutes. But it's just all about that slowly, patiently increasing the miles that I'm running, the time that I'm spending running, and that's it for me. What about you?
Okay. Actually, ironically, I kind of broke my gap plan. I don't really have. I mean, the goal the plan is to simply run 6 days a week, at least 3.5 miles a day. But now that I'm there, I'm kind of having my eye on the MDI marathon.
Okay.
In October. So that training, whether or not this race happens in late October or not, I'm going to start training for that eventually. So I'm going to be increasing my mileage. I don't have a plan. My plan is to simply run 25, at least minimum 25, 30 minutes a day, and get up to about 45 minutes for a long run. And then I think this summer, once I get the plan rolling, you'll find out exactly my marathon plan for October.
Okay.
So
I'm surprised you wouldn't be just doing the Nike plan again, or like another, maybe the step up.
I'm gonna keep it kind of like open for now. That training won't start until probably July. So I'm kind of keeping it kind of like open right now.
Okay, cool.
So yeah.
Well, we will wait to hear the final verdict on the training plan from you.
All right. Okay.
But hey, thanks for viewing the show. If you do have any topic suggestions, do let us know in the chat panel. And like we mentioned before, we will be moving the show to Wednesdays at 9 p.m. And we are going to get, and this is to me, not to you, Brad, we are going to get iron-fisted about it, where it's happening Wednesday at 9 p.m. Whatever is happening with work or family, 9 p.m. on Wednesday. So, yeah. And, do us, if you enjoy the show, you find it entertaining or informative, hopefully both, subscribe to the channel. We are trying to build it up. YouTube does give you certain perks when you gain subscribers. So we'd like to have that functionality to have, like a customized stream link that we can just send out and be like, hey, it's youtube.com/ run race repeat to listen in live. So yeah, hit that subscribe button, hit the alert button to get notified by YouTube when we do go live. And that's it. I hope this upcoming week's training goes well for you. We'd love to hear about it. And whatever race you're training for, whether it's virtual or physical, after we get out of this COVID-19 self-distancing norm, I hope you're crushing the training. And until next week, take care. Bye, everybody.
See you guys. Bye.